Well, my battery died, but what was I saying? Yeah, so I've been enjoying Spro-Over whatever shots using a single basket, which isn't ideally shaped, but yeah, it still gives really good results. I'm getting like high clarity, juicy, sweet coffees that aren't too strong, not super punchy like espresso, but stronger than a pour over, and yeah, I think it works well. Oh yeah, and the thing I was saying that's really amazing to me is how much coffee I'm using and how much coffee I'm drinking versus my usual shot. So let's say I'd usually use 15, 16 grams in that basket. That's the scale just turns on. Yeah, this is the Ikape scale they sent for review, and yeah, yeah, I got distracted now. Yeah, I've been liking that. Yeah, I just put a cup on and it wakes up on its own. But it only does that if you haven't used it. If you used it within the last 24 hours, otherwise it goes into deep sleep mode, and then this power switch needs to be toggled, which is indented, which is annoying because I don't have fingernails to get in there. So it's a little awkward to do it. I mean, I can, but it's just not as easy or nice as it should be. So not something I want to do, but luckily I don't have to do it that often. Also, the other thing I noticed is it's less tall than the Ikape Lunar, so it actually fits my what is that? Loveramix twisty glass cup. So what was happening with the Ikape is when you push down on the lever, the group kind of like it moves a little bit if you're pushing hard, and then I'll end up putting weight down on the scale. This one has enough of a gap that hasn't happened. You can see if I don't position the cup right, maybe the wood will hit the ledge of the cup, but that's not a problem. Yeah, plenty of room. But yeah, yeah, so I've been liking that. Just thought I'd throw that in there since it's a new discovery for me today. So now I can use this cup because I was using lower cups as a result because it didn't fit as well with the Ikape Lunar. Just a couple millimeters difference made the difference. Back to my original topic. Yeah, so I'm using like 16 grams, and I'd usually do 2 or 3 shots. So that's 32 to 48 grams. Did I do that math right? 48, something like that. So let's say 2 shots, 32. Yeah, 16, 16, 32. That's 2 coffees. They're like usually 30 milliliters out with this machine. Like I don't have too much choice. If I grind too fine and I don't do very long pre-infusion, then I might get less. Like I've gotten shots that were like 21 milliliters out, or 27 milliliters out, and they're usually good still. As long as you do enough pre-infusion and you let it kind of steep long enough, it doesn't matter if you do a ristretto. Kind of works. Although with this coffee I've been using lately, haven't been liking it with a shorter ratio. Maybe it could be good if I do a really long pre-infusion. I don't know if I've tried that, like excessively long, like a minute. Could be worth trying. I digress. What was I saying? Yeah, so that's 2 shots, 2 coffees, 30 milliliters each. Just like strong, intense coffees usually. Or at least with this coffee, it's been, yeah, too strong, too intense in bad ways. I think it's mostly the aftertaste I wasn't liking with this one. But as the turbo shot, it's been a lot cleaner. And yeah, so I'm only using 7 grams of coffee. So even if I do 4, 7, 14, 21, 28. So yeah, even if I do 4 shots, and each of those is still getting 30 to 40 milliliters out, so even more, because the way this works, it fills up the water chamber and there's a set amount that it can fill up. I mean, you can still pre-infuse longer and have water flow through and then pull, because once you start pulling the lever, the water stops flowing. It's only this amount that fills up above the coffee bed, and that saturates the coffee bed. There's only a set amount that you can push through, basically. And you don't usually, like, people do it, but like you don't want to lift the lever up again to get more water through. I found maybe you can do it, but it's tricky, and when I tried, it always ended up pretty bad. And it's hard to control that way, so yeah, I don't do that. That's called, there's a word for it. Can't remember right now, so I'm not going to try, because I'm running out of battery again. But yeah, generally I say you pull the lever up and then down once. Like, yeah, don't do the repeat, the refill move, whatever it's called. Yeah, so yeah, I'm getting like so much more coffee using less coffee, so that's a win for me. Just ideally, I'd like a better single basket so that I can tamp properly, and yeah, so maybe I'll see if there's any options, but I think for this machine, for 51 millimeters, there's not too many basket options, and that's the main downside with this machine. Like, I like it, and it makes good espresso, but there's not much like high extraction baskets. Not too many options. I think S-Works makes one, but they're really expensive, and I don't want to invest so much in something that, like, I haven't heard any reviews of. I don't know anyone else that has it. The other option is you can use paper filters. So I badly cut this one down from a 58 paper filter that came with the Weber basket. But you can buy something that cuts your own filters, and you can make them from like V60 paper filters, so they're exactly the right size. So yeah, I wet them, put them there, and that kind of gives you a higher extraction by opening up more surface area for the water, for the coffee to flow through. So yeah, I find that, I don't know if it makes too much of a difference on this basket, but yeah, I found it did help when I was doing that with my 58 millimeter machine on the, I think I tried it with like the decent baskets and the, I think I had the Pullman basket. So I found it got it closer to like a proper high extraction basket with lots of holes edge to edge. This is actually not bad for a little thing. Like, it looks like the holes are closer to the edge than some of the, like the decent basket or whatever. So these are the high extraction baskets. On the bottom right though, that's the decent 15 gram basket, I think, which I like because it's nice and small. This is also 16 gram Weber basket, so it's pretty small. The Pesado medium one is about the same size. Mischief one is a little bigger. That's like a knockoff of the S-Works Spirit. These are all 58 millimeters, so I have a lot more options for my 58 millimeter machine. Yeah, but yeah, if you look at the hole pattern, it actually does look like there's more holes closer to the edge on this whoever made this for the La Pavoni versus the decent 15 gram basket. Yeah, but yeah, I did used to like this. Maybe it works better with the paper filter, but it still doesn't come, it doesn't seem like it's as high extracting as something like these, which I also use with the paper filter just because the holes get clogged otherwise and it's annoying to clean. So yeah, but I don't think they need it for like extraction. Like, it doesn't seem to make a difference in the flavor that much compared to like using paper filter with this on the bottom or not using it. Anyway, I hope I've been informative. I've been ranting. I had a lot of coffee. So yeah. Yeah. The other thing I'm experimenting with is coffee freshness. So this coffee that I wasn't really liking at first that much, I don't know if it's the brew ratio alone or also because it was too fresh. So I've been storing it I've been using it from the Airscape container, this one. So this basically just pushes out the excess air. It doesn't vacuum seal, but it's kind of close. Since you don't have extra air trapped with your coffee, I mean, there's still air in between the beans. It's not like you can't really get everything out. But you know, as you go through your coffee, you adjust so there's less extra head space in there. So that's what I use for like my everyday coffee usually. And this one, I have the same coffee, and I use this. I keep it out of sunlight. It's stored in my drawer. Yeah, so this is more like a vacuum seal. It's just a manual pump. You pump it and it removes the air. This button will introduce the air back, breaking the seal. And these things are pretty good. So I've heard people say that vacuum sealing will like ruin your coffee. It makes it worse. I don't think that's the case. I think what's happening maybe is that you're having your coffee too fresh. So I think this one got better as it aged. Now that I'm moving back to the vacuum sealed one that should be fresher, I'm predicting that it's going to be worse again. So it's still too fresh basically. And eventually it will start getting better again. So it's just a matter of having it within the peak window. Too old isn't good, but also too fresh can be not so good, especially for like a really light roast. People say the Loring roaster does something differently where like it needs more time to rest. I found some coffees, and it happened to be from a Loring roasted coffee. It got better after like a whole month. I think it was more than a month. So like I was pretty much done the coffee, and then it started getting really good, and I'm like, what the hell? So like, how many people finish their coffee within, like, they buy a small bag, you're done your bag in like 2 weeks. So it's like you're not even realizing that you're missing the peak time. You're missing its optimal its potential. So people who freeze their coffee in single doses, that could be a downside because you're having consistent coffee, which can be good. That would be nice. You can have your grind size dialed in and have everything consistent where you have each 18-gram dose or whatever already pre-packed and frozen at the same age of degassing basically. And everything will be the same, but you could be missing out on its maximum potential because it's all the same. Maybe it's all too fresh. So that's why I like buying big bags. Buy a big bag, you leave some of it out, see how it ages. If you think it's at its optimal time, then maybe freeze it or seal it, or then you can single dose it once it starts getting better. But like you can't just, I mean, if you do freeze it immediately when it's like really fresh, then you might want to leave it out, like take it out and see how it ages. Yeah. But if you're doing single dosing and you're grinding right from freezing, then yeah, it's harder to find that optimal time window, basically. But yeah, this mainly applies for really light roasts. I think dark roasts are usually better when they're fresher, and they degas faster, so that's probably why. And also the oils or whatever go bad faster. But yeah, I've had coffees that were like months old, and light roast ones that were still really good, maybe even better. So yeah, I think we've obsessed a little too much about freshness. Yeah. So yeah, like buying year-old grocery store coffee is not good, but also going through all your coffee within 2 weeks is probably not ideal either for some light roast specialty coffees.